Welcome to a Bullet Point Nation live stream post-election special. I'm about to lose my mind up in here. Judd Dunning, how are you?
Boom chakalaka. I'm losing my mind as well, Michael Loftus, on the West Coast. Good to see you.
We have got the nation covered from New York to LA and all the bullet points in between. We're going to be running down 4 big stories. We're going to give you the inside scoop, the things that you need to know that no one else in the mainstream media is talking about. And guess what? We're going to throw in a wild card at the end. This week's promises to be delicious. Judd, what are tonight's bullet points?
I love it. Bullet point number 1, New World. Boom. Thank you so much, producer. New World Disorder. Stop the steal. Stop socialism. Stop the Great Reset. What the heck is going on?
Wow, that was a lot of words. Bullet point number 2.
This is we always do. Peaceful, pro-Trump, in-person passion in D.C. and nationwide, and BLM and Antifa are back, Jack.
Woo! Bullet point number 3.
There's a new president-elect in town, maybe, and he and the New Mexico and Oregon Democratic mayors and governors are shutting it down, but why?
I'm loving these titles. They're almost like little mini stories. Bullet point number 4.
Bailing on big tech, the rise of Parler, Rumble, and more.
And then, of course, we're going to have a wild card. We're keeping that secret. You know what I'm thinking? This would be a really good time to run a sweet, sexy graphics package. Hit me.
Boom.
It's like magic. It's like magic every time. Listen, and then also in the show, Judd Dunning, we got to talk about your new book. I believe it's out now. What's the title of that book?
Oh, thank you very much, Michael. We'll do the shameless self-promotion moment. 13 and a half reasons why not to be a liberal, which just hit international markets through Ingram, Newsmax, and Humanix on November 10th. You can buy us on Amazon. Look us up at Judd Dunning on Amazon. You'll find the book. You can also come to Bullet Point Nation, and we'd love to have you check it out. It's a great read. We're proud of it.
Wow, that's thick. It's hardcover with real printing. That's exciting, buddy.
We did some thinking, man. We put our thinking caps on. We sat there. We figured out conservatism. Check it out.
Now, this is exciting. We're doing a live stream. We're taking comments from you guys. If you're watching the stream and you want to jump in, look at that. Some of the if it merits, it's going to go on screen. You'll be internet famous or anonymous, whatever you want. But we love the comments. Keep them going. Drop the likes. Share it with all your friends. Let's commence to the bullet pointing. Judd, let's go. You remember the titles better than I do.
Yeah, and real quick, what I want to do is I want to tell our producer and Bruce, since we're live, Ava, so Bruce, 2 minutes on the clock. That's our deal here. You give us 2 to 3 minutes on the clock.
I think we're going longer. I think we're going 4.
3 minutes. There you go.
It's a supersized show.
Boom. Okay, give us 3-4 minutes. Give us the timer. Michael and I are going to get those bullet points in that you need to know when you're listening through the fake news, you're listening through big tech, you're listening to your friends. You're like, what the heck's going on? Here we go. So bullet point number 1, we call it New World Disorder. Stop the steal, stop socialism, stop the Great Reset. So listen, the bottom line, what's the big bullet point? The big bullet point is we have until December 16th to figure out what's really going on in the American election process. And nobody has the right to shame you for just good, democratic, free electoral thinking. That is the biggest bullet point, is when people tell you you don't have a right to look, they're trying to silence your voice and they're trying to silence freedom. Michael.
Yeah, I'm going to agree. Don't be shamed. Here's what I keep hearing on the news, that like these Trump supporters with their unfounded theories, isn't every theory kind of unfounded until you prove it and then it's a fact? I mean, didn't somebody have an unfounded theory that the world was round and everybody's like, what are you doing? you're an idiot. No, it's just a theory. So it ain't over till it's over. There's a lot more information coming out every day. There's so much. Be calm, and let's just hope that the Trump administration has some super good lawyers, and it looks like he does.
Yeah, let's actually run that Lynn Wood YouTube clip for a moment. I mean, this guy he's heading the charge. He's saying we've got the litigation in all the states. We've got a multi-level thing going on with the Dominion or whatever the election tampering devices are. There's a different company that owns it out of Germany. Do you have that clip, producer Bruce?
And then all of a sudden, every network, including Fox News, started doing what they do best. They started lying to the American public. And they took a victory from Donald Trump and they called it a lie. They took a defeat from Joe Biden and lied and said he won. And they sent you to bed turning off the count of the vote so you could wake up the next morning like I did and go, what happened? What happened?
There you go. I mean, I thought Lynn put it great. I think Fox had a very balanced approach. There are a lot of guys that are really calling out the election properly there. So, but more importantly, overall, it's like we all went to sleep and then we woke up with a different result. We all know it. And now the gaslighting is getting worse and worse and worse. And Lynn, by the way, is leading the charge. And if you saw, there's a great breakdown last night, Michael, the bullet point we need to know is there were 14 personal depositions that Rudy Giuliani has in hand that are people in the polling place saying, I was told to change the ballots. I was told to move the addresses. I was told to refile. I mean, and how can we say there's no election fraud? 14 depositions.
That's the other thing. It's like when you go, hey, here's proof that like dead people were voting. They go, it's going to happen. And that's not enough to overturn it. So like, what do you like? How much fraud is okay? That's what it's always weird when you're arguing with someone on the other side of the aisle. Like right now, if one person dies of COVID, that's horrible. We have to all lock down. Well, you're okay. Well, one person fraudulently voted, and they're like, oh, well, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's just so weird. You can't pin them down. There's multiple instances. There's bad ballots that are coming through. There's signatures that aren't matching. Who knows what other shenanigans are up. And then you've got the Dominion voting machine. And I think we were talking about this the last time we were together. That scorecard and hammer. They're talking about dropping some serious information. There was a segment on Maria Bartiromo where one of Trump's lawyers was saying, I don't ever make accusations that I can't prove. And supposedly later on this week, it's all coming out. She's going to release the Kraken. And I am ready.
Amen. You know, it's interesting because the company that actually owns Dominion, the one in Germany that was actually raided, if you go to the owners on there, the owners are related to the Clinton Foundation. So they're saying, how long has this been around? Because the claims are that we've been influencing elections for a long time through America, through our CIA, which is just known information. Now, suddenly, when it's applied to our own system, it matters. You know, it's an interesting thing. It came up, Rob asked me on our other show. He said, do you think that red states were tampered with? Maybe during the Bush administration. And the more that we see the Bushes coming out against Trump and being anti-institutional, this system may have been around for a long time. But where Giuliani said so clearly last night in his video, he said what happened is Dominion didn't work because the landslide was too big. So then dead voters. I mean, Huckabee came out and she said, why have millions of people only voted for the president? Who do you know that goes to vote in the elections and only votes for the president and leaves everything else blank?
Right. And then how many House seats were flipped red? So we're supposed to believe people either just went, I'm voting for Biden and that's it. Or they went, you know what, I'm going to vote for Biden, but then I'm going to go over here and vote for the Republican for the House. It just doesn't pass the smell test. Donald Trump knows it, and he's tweeting about it. Imagine that.
Show that Dominion quote, why Mike's saying that. Go ahead and read that, Michael.
We got Donald Trump. I'm going to do my Donald Trump. Dominion deleted 2.7 million Trump votes nationwide. Data analysis finds 221,000 Pennsylvania votes switched from President Trump to Biden. 941,000 Trump votes deleted in states using Dominion voting system. Switched 435,000 votes from Trump to Biden. Boy, if he can back that up. If they can back that up and prove
Bring that down, Bruce. Bring that down.
That is a game changer.
Yeah. Hey, man, Christopher Walken snuck into your Trump a little bit there. It was like,
oh, that's my thing. When I'm on stage,
941.
when I'm on stage, I tell everybody, I'm like, I can't do a Donald Trump impression, so I do Christopher Walken instead.
I loved it.
So let's get into bullet point number 2.
All right, bullet point number 2. Bring it up. Great. Producer. All right. Peaceful pro-Trump in-person passion. I mean, it was amazing. So many came to the event in Washington. Go ahead and throw the tweet up there to Freedom Pavilion, where so many passionate followers of the president came out. If you have that tweet, Bruce, we can see the picture. So it was just amazing. There were a lot of people there. It was packed. People descended. And it wasn't just there. It was across the nation. And this is the support level. And this will go back to our first point, Michael, is that this many people just want justice and clarity in the election. So think about this amount of people want to know whether or not the electoral process was contaminated. But it was peaceful. It was amazing until the end of the night. It devolved, and it devolved once again by the left, because conservatives don't riot and steal.
Yeah, it was very funny to me. Not funny, ha, but funny that they knew this rally was going to happen. They knew a boatload of conservatives were going to come out, and I didn't see any shop owners boarding up their windows, closing. I didn't hear about anything like that happening. This is like it's shades of the Tea Party, and that's my big bullet point for this. These are not like Trump supporters. Yes, they support the president, but these are also the same people who comprise the Tea Party. There are millions and millions of America. Our numbers are growing. Right now, there's 72 million who voted for Trump. These are people who just want, there's not two sets of justice. There's not two sets of law. If you do a criminal activity, you should get punished. And it's not hard to figure out what the appeal is here. And I have bad news for Joe Biden and his supporters. The Black Lives Matter and the Antifa that was just an idea was a lot of violence from them last night for just being an idea, for just the idea. They were actually quite physically violent. Yeah,
it's pretty amazing that these guys only burned down like places that they won't work, right? These are the Occupy Wall Street guys just looking to raise hell. They're out on the streets, man. I mean, look, Trump was a law and order president. I mean, he smacked MS-13 down to MS-3. I mean, this guy was like an animal, everything he did. If you want to look at what our future could be under Biden, go ahead and run this video. And this is what happened at the end of the night when BLM, and it's true, BLM and Antifa do have to be separated because there are some good people in BLM, not in Antifa. Yeah. But do you have that video, Bruce? Let's run that.
No, I don't have it up.
Okay, we'll bring it back. But essentially, this beautiful old guy was on his bike with a Trump T-shirt, and a bunch of young kids just came and beat the tar out of him and disgraced him and kicked him on the ground, and just because freedom of speech. So there's a war on freedom of speech. There's a theme with the left. The left through social media is censoring. The left in politics is gaslighting. The left on the ground is attacking.
I thought you had a video clip of the couple in the cafe last night that got attacked by
fireworks.
Because that's another very powerful message when a bunch of people are screaming at you and they tell you, if you don't raise your fist in the air, we will beat you up. And those are the anti-fascists. If you don't make this pseudo Hitler salute, we will beat you up. The irony is completely lost on these people. They need to sit down and watch a lot of movies about World War II. They really do.
And by the way, if you really understand fascism, the way the left run government is more fascist than the way the right runs the government. I mean, It's complete. It's the big lie. Dinesh D'Souza in his movie, The Big Lie about racism, the big lie about socialism. It's self-sacrifice. It's not self-sacrificing to the elites on the left because it doesn't apply to them. So there we go. There inherently is fascism because you've got an elite force running the levels of production and money to their own needs. And, so. Yeah,
I think
know what they're doing.
For something that is just an idea, Antifa, it's just an idea. Boy, it's crazy how they're capable of such physical violence and sucker punches. A lot of sucker punches from Antifa. I see a lot of video where just like people just get blindsided. That's not a fair fight. I want a fair fight. Bullet point number 3.
Bullet point number 3. All right. Let's see. Moving on there. Good Michael Loftus. Bullet point number 3, there's a new president-elect in town, maybe, and he and the Dem governors are saying, lock it down again, America. But why? And what's up with Pfizer right now? So we're talking about COVID. We're talking about the Biden team. We're talking about the handling the pandemic. Interesting enough that some of the people on the Pfizer board were actually related to IBM, which were the major donors to the Democratic Party and the Biden platform. Interesting they held it back. Interesting that they said that Project Warp Speed had nothing to do with their timeline. Yes, it did, because they were competing with the other guys that took primary money. And yes, they actually took government direction. So there's a complete distortion about the cure. And now Biden's trying to claim that it has something. He's not even in office yet. He's trying to claim it, right? And now we're going right down to, oh, well, if Biden's coming in, let's go ahead and start locking down. And New Mexico and Oregon and other states that know that Trump is going to pull federal funding back from it because it could be Biden are already starting to take over our pod list.
What Pfizer did was so gross and so disgusting. Because Trump during that second debate is like, we're going to have a vaccine very soon in the next couple of weeks. He was ridiculed for that. The press made fun of him. And Pfizer knew. They could have announced this whenever they wanted to. But for them to go, no, let's hold off. And then they told the Biden people before they told the Trump people, which is just completely rude. And then they out and out lied about not being a part of Project Warp Speed. That's just, listen, they say that we should, a separation of church and state. We also need a separation of big pharma and state. That was no good. So there's a vaccine coming out. And I guess for a lot of people, that's good news. I ain't taking it.
I ain't taking it either.
I'm not going.
No way.
Nowhere.
Yeah.
I'll just hang loose. And so now, of course, they're talking about another lockdown because they really want to make sure your life is completely ruined. They're trying to set the rules on how many people you can have for Thanksgiving. Jake Tapper was talking to Dr. Fauci today, talking about canceling Christmas.
Yeah.
It's just. And if you look at the data,
cancel Jake Tapper. I think that's far enough.
And if you look at the data, the lockdowns, you look at countries that lock down and countries that don't lock down, there's not a big difference. It doesn't make a big difference at all. And this whole, wear a mask thing, the numbers coming out of Sweden versus the numbers that are coming out of the UK, Sweden's doing better.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and put up that Fauci quote, Bruce, if you would. Producer Bruce, let's see Producer Bruce. I want everybody in our Bullet Point Nation to meet Producer Bruce Kraft. Bruce, are you there? Can I use your last? Can we use your last name?
I guess you could use my last name. I don't mind. Yeah.
You can always go back and bleep it in the editing. Our other producer remains anonymous, which is what for me. I don't have anything else going on, man. I'm in real estate, so people. It's not red or blue. It's green in my industry. Thank God. So, producer. Go ahead and put that up, that Fauci quote that we got. If not, I'll just read it right now.
Yep, there you go.
Right on top of this, right on top of this, Michael. Fauci comes out in an interview and he says, do what you're told. Who is this? Who is this guy that's being lambasted, worshipped, adjusted, owns part of the patent for COVID? Do what you're told. You know what? If there is ever a grounds for a loss of citizenship, if we had that in our court system, was like, yeah, you know what? You're out. You went a little too far, buddy. Go to Venezuela. And then followed up with, and get to your point is, we had the Democratic Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham, the New Mexico quote you just had up there, Bruce. Put that up there.
Sure.
This is the background before we get to what Michael said, because we want to prove this. We want people to know we're not just sitting here talking out some right-wing talking point. Democratic Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham said, after a 2-week stay-at-home order just came out, we are in a life or death situation. If we don't act now, we can't preserve the lives. We can't keep saving lives. And we will absolutely crush our current healthcare system and infrastructure. Then we go over to Oregon, same thing, followed suit to Biden, playing over to Pfizer, said Kate Brown ordered a 2-week freeze starting Wednesday. All businesses will be required to close their offices to the public and mandate work from home to the greatest extent possible. Those are full Australian level shutdowns happening. And then, Michael, you're referencing Sweden. And there were 3 different lockdown studies that just came out that Bruce also has on the screen. And let's make sure that our followers know why we're saying this. We're not just some like basement rebels here. It says, go to the first one.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah, right where you are. Aren't you a high rise level? I'm a back garage, and you're a high rise level. Okay, go to the third quote about lockdowns, and they say here from the University of Toronto and University of Texas, lockdowns made little difference in the number of people who died from coronavirus, the study has claimed. Researchers of Toronto and University of Texas found that whether a country was locked down or not was not associated with COVID-19 death. Followed up by another study that came out from the E-Clinic of Medicine in the Evening Standard. Experts compared mortality rates of cases in 50 badly hit countries up until May 1st and calculated only 33 out of every million people died of the virus who had the virus. That found that imposing lockdown measures succeeded in stopping hospitals from becoming overwhelmed, but it did not translate into reduction of COVID deaths. We can go on. I mean, science itself, and who are these governors and who are Biden making these claims?
Well, it is just it's government overreach, and a lot of people they react to these things emotionally. They don't. It looks like I'm doing something. If I tell you you can't go to work, it looks like I'm doing something. If I tell you you have to wear a mask, it looks like I'm doing something. And people, you've seen the arguments on Facebook. You have personally just a completely rational friend of yours that'll go, listen, we got to stay home and wear a mask or it's going to get really bad. And you show them, well, here's a study that was published in the Lancet that says it doesn't make any, they don't even want to listen to it. They don't even want to listen to it. Fear is a great motivator. Fear is a great motivator. And if you close your business, and if we go through another lockdown and your small business goes under, my heart breaks for you, but maybe you shouldn't close down in the first place. Maybe just stay open. I'm all for like, let's go on the Swedish model. Everybody try to keep socially distant, wash your hands, but let's keep going. We got to keep going. The price of the lockdown and the deaths that'll be caused by that are going to be worse than the cure. Who said that? Oh, that was Donald Trump said that.
No, before you go on, though, I have to say, I mean, look, our economy is down 33%. It's the worst in 70 years. We are not, this is not esoteric tampering. People are going to commit suicide. People are going to become alcoholic. People are going to die. People are going to have mental health problems in America. We're decimating wealth. You know what? I'll say it. I'll be the conservative that says, I don't care. So what if a handful more of people die as we march through a horrible flu on the way to protecting our nation, our way of life, and our freedom? And the left, they really don't care about this. I think I feel like there's a war on noses and teeth. You know, it's like, I miss noses, I miss teeth, man. It's like, I just want to see people.
You know what? Here's an idea. You just wonder if they want to do a lockdown so that the economy is doing bad, and then right after Joe Biden takes his hand off the Bible, it'll just shoot back up again.
V-shape. Yeah.
All right. Bullet point numero tre.
Numero tre. No, numero cuatro, amigo. Cuatro.
We're on 4? We're flying. What are we missing?
It moves so fast. Can I do that? Okay. All right. So I don't know where that came from. All right. Bullet point number 4, bailing on big tech. All right. The rise of Parler. Another one. Boom. And Rumble. and more. I'm using all my bullets on this last one. So, Mike, here we are. It's been about a year of our show. And we've been predicting censorship. We've been predicting a loss of free speech. We've been silenced. We've had to send in our documents, our passport, our driver's license, verification of our bills just to be on Facebook. We've had 75 marketing boosts rejected on like 75 shows. And now here we are in the middle of big tech censorship, and people are finally waking up. I think you and I are time travelers. I think we were ahead of the curve a little bit. What do you think's going on with big tech and this explosion? What's next?
Well, they're going to have to keep us down. They're going to have to keep silencing dissent, because so far, if let's say the election stands, let's just say, put on your imaginary hat and go, okay, so it's President Biden. The Washington Examiner just did a story about a poll where I think it was almost 7% of people who voted for Joe Biden admitted if they would have known about the Hunter laptop story, the Hunter Biden laptop China thing, they wouldn't have voted for Biden. They wouldn't have done it. So with Twitter and Facebook squashing that story, they helped get Joe Biden elected. They had their personal preference. The people who run these big tech companies, these social medias, they lean some way politically, and so it looks like it worked. So who knows what they'll want to do next? But they won't want people like us calling them out. 15% of people who voted for Joe Biden don't even know why they did it.
Yeah, they actually did that Google study. Well, how can I change my vote? Remember that? After that was real. After the laptop came out, people were like, is there any way I can change my vote? But that's bearing. Michael, this is not about just free speech. This is not about Trump. This is about we were almost there in the second term of a president who was going to take down the elite class. Like there were things that Bush might have done, right? There's things that Obama definitely did. 25 known scandals. There's the Biden family. There's the Clinton family. Come on, we're America. If you're elected office and you do something wrong, you should have double the penalty. You should go down. What about a little cherry tree? What about a little George Washington? Let's be the honest country. We're the morally relativist country of the millennial pot smoking class. Do I want to be that old dude? But I'm worried. I am worried about what's next, man.
Well, maybe that's why Matt Drudge went from being a pro-right publication to now leaning left. Maybe Drudge has something like it is. Listen, having that big D in front of your name is like a get out of jail free card. You can just go down the list of scandals. The weaponization of the IRS, nobody gets in trouble. The FBI and the Pfizer reports and the CIA, nobody gets in trouble. People come up and they lie and give testimony about Kavanaugh and the Supreme Court. Nobody gets in trouble. You got the Durham report out there right now. Nobody's going to get in trouble. It seems like you can just do whatever you want, and that ain't good.
That ain't good. That ain't good. And we have the stats too, which is interesting. What's going to happen next? So here's a bullet point I just want to bring up. What people don't realize is that the left is government control, and even though big tech is backing the left, they say that Section 230 and the control of media by the left may even be greater than the right, even though we were trying to bring in the antitrust laws and we're going to break up the monopolies, that the left may end up actually controlling media worse than if the big tech had backed the right. So they're actually kind of betting against themselves. There's a lot of analysis of whether they're going to do that.
Yeah, it's always completely ironic. These people who vote, with their hearts and they think these wonderful things are going to happen. There's always unintended consequences. It always goes bad. I'm glad there's new places opening up. I'm glad that Parler's doing good. I'm glad that Rumble is taking off. However, I also don't want to just be shouting in an echo chamber.
Bingo.
That's boring.
That is the big point, Michael. When I love Parler, but when I go there, I feel like all I'm doing is talking to people to the right. We're just like, oh, it's horrible. I'm like, come on. Yeah. There's no dissenting view on Rumble, or Parler as well. Yeah. All right, here we are. After you, go bring it home, bullet point partner.
I think you got to do one more plug for your book. I think you got to let people know where they can get your book.
Promo time. Give us an appropriate sound effect for promo time. What do you think? Yeah, okay. Here we are. 13 and a half reasons why not to be a liberal and how to enlighten others. Get us on Amazon. We've started selling. We've been on about, you can throw up that graphic, Bruce. Been on about 8 or 9 different radio shows. We're headed to Newsmax. This is a great book for those of you. Okay, we can drop that. So there's all the shows we're doing. This is a great book. Is what do conservatives do when we're in a crisis? Well, what we don't do is we don't cave in. But what we do is we pull up our bootstraps and we learn to know what we know. So this is an ideological treatise on why do you know what you know and how to argue. It's an intelligent take. If you're from the center of the left and you want to figure out what we think without being offended, just why we look at it from a political and philosophical point of view, here it is. If you just want to fire your own flames, here it is. Thanks. Now, more excitingly than the only thing that people remember me by in my life after I die is what Michael's doing for the 3rd time on Fox. Go ahead, Michael. Tell us about your new comedy special. We're excited to hear about it.
I went down to Nashville, Tennessee, and did stand-up in a club called Zanies. And we filmed it, and it's a lot of like pro-America. It's wonderful. It's pretty funny. And then because I filmed it in Nashville, Tennessee, I chose this as the title, Michael Loftus, live from Nashville. So that's the kind of creative spirit I am bringing to the stage. It'll be coming out on Fox Nation very soon. When I get the exact date of when the special's gonna drop, as the kids say, I will let you know. That's why you always got to come back to Bullet Point Nation. You got to use that hashtag BPN. You got to go to bulletpointnation.com so you're up to date on this stuff, you guys.
Amen. A special edition, too. At Bullet Point Nation, you can now catch some of Michael's The Loftus Party videos. Jump over to The Loftus Party. See his universe. It's amazing. It's funny. And you're great. So, okay. So now we're going to pivot from here to that special time, that sexy time.
Yeah.
Called the wild card. Woo! All right.
I love it. I didn't pick this week. My wild card. There's always going to be nudity or partial nudity with my wild card. Thank you, Judd. You go for the weird stuff. You picked this week. What do you got?
Well, I'm a passionate conservative vegan, and I've got some good news for you, people. Give us the video on this one. The McDonald's is going vegan, baby. So that's funny. So listen, it's really interesting. The one holdout in American culture is McDonald's, and McDonald's finally is introducing the McPlant burger. Now, a lot of people are like, wait a minute, Judd, you're a Republican. You're a vegan? Well, I'm a vegan because I got a bad stomach because I work so hard trying to make a lot of money to support a lot of people. I'm not a vegan because I care about animals. But I love animals, and Trump does too because he just passed the Animal Cruelty Act, which makes it a felon to hurt animals. So the right does love animals, but I would eat animals on a normal basis like Michael does from Ohio. I'm sure you come from a long background of meat eaters. Michael, let us know. What are your thoughts about America going vegan?
I love how this got deeply personal about
I don't know what
your financial state of mind and why you're a vegan. I'm going to bring it back to McDonald's and the McPlant burger. First of all, McDonald's, you pay a lot of people money, a lot of money to do research and to name products. You came up with McPlant? What is that? That doesn't sound McDelicious at all. Yeah, it sounds like Robert Plant.
No. It's just effing no plant to go. Yeah. It is pretty bad. It is the Impossible Burger, though. The Impossible Burger is amazing.
But that's a horrible name too.
Yeah.
I don't like Impossible Burger because that's so negative. The miracle meat. I'm never gonna eat anything called miracle meat. And McPlant is what like a Scottish 5-year-old calls the fern that his mom told him to take care of. Hey, McPlanty, here's some McWater for my new McPlanty. It's a horrible idea. And stay true to your brand. For the love of God, McDonald's, you're already you sell yogurt in the morning. You sell salads all day long. Do you have to have a McPlanty burger? How about you bring back the Mac Jr.? Now, there was a sandwich. It was like a Big Mac, but smaller. I loved it. Bring it back.
Well, they had to fill the gap from McRib, right? You study the McRib. That was the one. They went a little too far with the McRib. It looked like the little stack of ribs in there, but it was all just pressed meat. So now, it's the McPlant. Funny enough, people don't realize this, and I just want to leave this with because there's a lot of like cow flatulence shaming from the left, right? But America is 3.86% vegetarian. We are not India people. We are a meat-eating country. And vegans, by the way, vegans are 0.056. So you really don't have to, you can't really blame cows for climate change. And if you want to have a burger, have a burger. I can't top that, Michael. You were great this week. This was great working with Bruce. Bruce, come on the screen. Let's let everybody meet you. Are you video? Oh, there you are. Everybody, ladies and gentlemen, Timer.
Wow.
We just call him Timer now, which would be a graphic. But here's Bruce in the news studio at Bullet Point Nation. We're so glad to have him and Gary Lon from Beck Computers, our media consulting company. They've been amazing. Mike and I get to take a show live once a week. What do you think, Mike?
I like it. I really dig it. Having the videos is nice. Putting up the quotes is nice. There's a production value that America expects, and we deliver. You know what this show is, Judd? This is fun. It's informative. It's entertaining. This ain't no McPlant. This is McBullet Point Nation.
McBullet Point Nation. Get your bullet point meat here. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming to another show of Bullet Points. We're now running this at 1:30. We're going to be moving around to the week. Watch Bullet Point Nation on Facebook. Follow Michael at the Loftus Party. You can also follow our book at 13 Reasons Why. And we'll see you next week on Bullet Point Nation.